Chad Brendel, BearcatJournal.com, here with Cincinnati men's head basketball coach John Brannen. Coach, how are you on this lovely Wednesday afternoon?
I'm great, Chad. Thanks for getting together.
Let's start with the big news of the day. Season tickets sold out again for the second year in a row. As a new head coach, that has to feel awesome that kind of support is behind you as we get closer to the start of the season.
It really does, Chad. You know, Brandon hit me on it. I knew it was heading that direction, and to have that happen and is, you know, my first year is outstanding, and obviously it's a path that's been going down that road with the new arena and the success that the program's had. So, listen, the home court advantage is huge. I mean, I've talked to coaches in the league, and they feel like we've got the best home court advantage in the league, and that needs to continue, especially as we continue to play the teams we're playing.
You experienced it last year from the other side. How was that? Seeing this arena alive and really into it?
It was incredible. I mean, just, you know, it's a great point. Experience it on the other side, it affects you. It affects your team. And you know, you're walking into a passionate fan base, and you know, I'm appreciative fan base, and I'm appreciative of how passionate they are. And I can't wait for us to get our first home game.
You're 5 months in now. Has it slowed down at all, or does it still? I know those first 2 or 3 months had to be a whirlwind.
Yeah, it really was. It slowed down a little bit, just from the standpoint. You know, one thing slows down, the other speeds up, right? Mm-hmm. So now we're building the relationships with the players and getting them to understand what we want to do, making our imprint, in the community, and then making our imprint with recruits in 2020, 2021, 2022 is a never-ending battle. So it's slowed down in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's picked up. And you get into coaching to coach, Chad. You don't get into coaching to do all the other things necessarily, but you learn to enjoy them. Now's our chance to coach, and that's what I'm most excited about.
You mentioned the recruiting part. Obviously, we can't mention names of anyone that hasn't signed. But overall, how has the reaction been when you're out there selling Cincinnati and talking to kids about coming here?
I think we have a great brand. So an understanding of the success, both in the championships as well as the NBA, is known with the young people we're recruiting. What's been different is just we recruit different types of players than we've recruited in the past. So getting them to understand that Cincinnati can now be an option when maybe prior that wasn't. So that's probably the challenge. And then the challenge of just them getting to know me for the ones that haven't known me, because I didn't recruit them before.
You've got a roster with kind of half and half, guys that you inherited and then guys that were brought in. You've got good guys that you took over, so I think that plays a big part of it. But how have the two sides kind of meshed and gotten to know each other and gotten along?
That's a great question. The mesh personality-wise is great. We got a team that enjoys being around each other, enjoys competing with and against each other, enjoys spending time with each other off the court. The challenge has been we haven't had a full team.
Right.
We've been really beat up. So I'm hoping to get more back on Friday, but we just haven't had any continuity right now in any practices.
Tre Scott, it was said when Gary Clark graduated, there might not be a better human to ever come through the Cincinnati program. And it turns out the guy that was backing him up is every bit as good of a guy. You had a history with Tre from recruiting him at Alabama. How has he been as a leader and as kind of, the heartbeat of this team? And has that relationship allowed you to maybe ease the transition a little bit?
I tell you what, I wish I'd known Gary Clark then, because if he's anything like Tre Scott, then I missed out on getting to know a great person, because Tre's phenomenal. His leadership qualities, his toughness, his commitment level to his teammates, his commitment level to the university, it really stood out to me in a lot of ways. He's made the transition much better for me. And the thing I told Tre is we've got to be connected. We've got to be connected at a high level for this team to achieve what we're capable of achieving. And I think he's willing to do that. The past relationship certainly helps, but it's like any relationship. You build that trust through consistency every day. And he's been nothing but consistent. I hope he feels the same way about me. When
we talk about basketball today, things have shifted from point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, the traditional, the way positions were talked about. What's your philosophy on that? Are you a positionless guy? Are you a guard, wing, big, stretch? What's your thought process on what John Brannen's teams on the floor look like as you build this program?
Well, I think, first of all, Coach Donovan used to tell me there's two positions, on the court and on the bench. So your goal is to get on the court. So that's first and foremost. I think one of the things that I'd like to think our staff's good at is evaluating as we go and making sure we put the right guys on the floor, and that takes that morphs into different things, especially offensively as the season goes on. What I like to have pick and pop fours and athletic long fives and athletic and long guards that can make shots. Yes, and we're going to get.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, we're going to do that, and we got that in several spots. But at the same time, we're going to take our style of play and we're going to make it fit for our guys, and our guys are understanding the style of play. So, what that looks like yet on the court, time will tell. I mean, I've got to see how guys matriculate. Right now, I've only had, 4 hours a week with them on the basketball court. That's
Right.
not enough to get the evaluation I need in terms of where to put guys.
You talked about implementing the system and getting that as close to done as you can before practice starts on Friday. How far have you gotten? How much still needs to be done from Friday to Halloween?
So I would tell you, defensively, we probably got about 25% of our system in, and 30%, and offensively, we probably got about 10% in. So that doesn't mean we weren't doing anything the last 6 weeks. We were trying to get in shape,
Right.
first and foremost. And then defensively is where we spend most of our time. And we're the next 60 to 70% of the defense that needs to get in, we'll get in quicker because we have a foundation of the other stuff. The other stuff just ties into what we've already done. It's the offensive piece that we're just nowhere near where we need to be on that. And again, that takes time, that matriculates differently, that morphs over the year. We're going to be the same defensive team throughout the season. We'll be an offensive team that adjusts throughout the year. And if you don't do that, then you're not a very good offensive team. So that's going to take us some time.
How much different is it with 20 hours as opposed to 4?
Oh, it's everything. So right now, I can't watch film a lot with the guys. So right now, our guys are strictly learning on the court. I mean, I can watch film, but it eats up time. So right now, instead of learning through film and through on the court and through all the things they hear the football team do and think where you spend a lot of time watching film, that'll take place on Friday. So their learning curve is going to be expedited. The way that they learn is going to increase a great deal. And now everybody's on the bus, and if you don't catch up, now you're going to get left behind. And that's the message I've gotten across to the team.
So is that, I know this is a football thing, and you've kind of adopted a lot of football stuff from when you were at Alabama. Are you big on recording every practice and then being able to go back and show maybe this is where we need work, this is what you guys might, this is what went wrong?
There's not a single second of practice that I don't evaluate multiple times after the practice is over. So we watch everything, and we have positional groups that come in and watch it with our coaches. Then we watch it as a team. These guys don't like to watch film, then they're going to have to find something else to like to do because we watch a lot of film.
Do they know that's coming?
I don't know. It's a good question. I guess they will now.
When looking at the roster, a lot of perimeter depth.
Yes.
Not as much depth maybe in the post. When you look at building this team, do you think at times we're going to have to play small, or how are we gonna manage minutes here and there? Are you already that far in the process, or do you still need to see more on the court?
I need to see more on the court. I mean, obviously, my mind's gone to those places, but what that looks like yet, time will tell. And when I have clarity, I have clarity, and once we have clarity of that, we'll put in the things we need to put in for those guys to be successful in the positions they're asked to play. But that could take on many forms based on our current roster. I think the best teams that I've had, the 3 straight titles that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of, were great pieces. Pieces all fit together, and we're trying to make sure that happens now. And we're not there yet.
And that was something, even when you look at your team last year, the team that you had on the floor at the end of the year was not similar to the team you had on the floor at the beginning of the year, right? I mean, there certain different pieces moved around, and you found
our 3-man became a point guard.
Yeah.
And different things happen.
And is that something, that's how John Brannen operates, is go with it and continue to watch and develop, and whatever works you're gonna make work?
I think that's what you have to be as a coach. So my last 2 all-conference point guards were 3-men when they were walking through the door, and they matriculated the point guard. So I watched them, they evaluated them, they got better in certain areas, and then I felt like we put them in the right positions. That's the same way it'll be here. This is not a situation where you can walk into the year saying, hey, this is exactly what we're going to do. Now, listen, we've got a foundation. We've put in part of our offense. We've put in certain things. But if you're not willing to be flexible and being able to adjust as the season goes on, then with the coaches in this league, you get left behind.
The non-conference, not easy. You've got, 12 challenging games, and especially Ohio State on the road, the team across town on the road. How do you look at that and say, we're still implementing, we're still developing our style, but we do also have a situation where we got to win some games early to help our tournament, or help our resume?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to every game with that mindset. but we put a challenge. And again, we had a challenging schedule coming through the door.
Yeah.
And then we added some games to continue to challenge ourselves. And the reason we did that is to put ourselves in position at the end of the year to try to be where we want to be. And you know, I don't have a crystal ball. I do know this team will be ready to play in each and every environment we walk into, and we'll let the results kind of go as they go. We'll divorce ourselves from results and live in the process.
You brought some guys in with you on staff that you had familiarity with at Northern, and then Jason G. that obviously gave you your first job in coaching. How does it feel like this floor here, the sixth floor, has come together for you in the first 5 months?
Well, amazing. I think they did a great job in recruiting. I think they've done an unbelievable job connecting with our players. And you know, my goal, Chad, from the beginning was not to coach the coaches, but to coach the team. And I mean, I got to coach the coaches, but not to where I'm spending as much time doing that than coaching the team. So our coaches are coaching the team, and I think that's a huge part in hitting the ground running when you're an organization that's taking over such a successful program like Cincinnati.
Friday, are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Is it that challenge is finally here? What's your thought process on the first practice?
I'm really excited. It's taken away. October 15th used to be the day, and now the summer's bled into the fall, and the fall's bled into the winter. So I think as coaches, we got to be careful to make sure that the guys are excited, but this is a defining day. So we really made this a big day, and I'm going to take Lisa to dinner, and we're going to go axe throwing.
Nice.
It'll be the last time we see each other until March. I hope this doesn't play before I get a chance to do that. And then we're going to hit the ground running on Friday, and days will turn into Saturdays will be Tuesdays, and Wednesdays will be Sundays. You won't know what day it is.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.